So welcome to tonight's team call. We have a special guest, Jaelyn Barnes, that's going to be hosting our call, and she is a stay-at-home mom. She's got 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy, ages from 8 to 1, so she's definitely a busy mama. She homeschools her kids, and then she's also really cool story because she signed on as a coach in January 2015, and by December 2015, she was officially a 5-star elite coach, which is just absolutely crazy. That's like unheard of for people to do. So she's going to kind of talk to you about how she was able to do that. And I want you to really just listen and take notes because this is somebody that decided, I have an awesome opportunity and I'm going to run with it. So also, if you have any questions at the end, feel free to ask her. Don't be, whatever it is, if you want to just be like, how, just make sure that you pick her brain while we have her, and go ahead, it's all yours.
Thanks. Okay, so I'm just going to dive right into it. I actually have like a little slideshow so you guys can kind of take some notes. So can you guys see my screen? Yeah? Yes, I'm assuming. Okay. So, yes.
Anybody that's not muted, can you go ahead and mute yourself? There's some feedback.
Now I know what you're talking about. See?
Okay. So April kind of already introduced me. I'm going to go a little bit more into my story because that is a big part of why I ended the year 5-star elite. So I just titled this Making Elite Your Vision because it really has to be part of your vision for it to happen. If you just sit and think, well, it'd be nice if I made elite, like you're not ever going to get there. It has to be part of your vision. So my story, I'm a mom of 4, like April said, and after each baby, I actually gain weight nursing, and I end up heavier after I'm done nursing than I do when I deliver my babies. And so it's extremely frustrating for me. And I went to a nutritionist a few years ago after my 3rd, and I lost all the baby weight, which I'd never been able to do on my own. And so that was when I really figured out how important meal plan and diet is to losing weight. I did 0 exercise, was not a fan of exercising. I danced growing up, so I thought like working out was just torture. Like I would rather not do that. And so I didn't do any working out, and the nutritionist meal plan got me down to 18% body fat. And of course I didn't have like a ton of muscle on me because I didn't work out. But it proved to me how important meal plan was. So fast forward to after my 4th baby, I thought, sweet, I totally know how to do this meal plan. It's going to be awesome. And no, it totally did not happen that way. I had 0 accountability. I was burned out on the meal plan because it was very restrictive as far as options. It was very similar to 21 Day Fix, but it was very like I ate the same thing over and over, and it just got annoying. And I just couldn't get myself to do it. And I got really depressed with where we were in life. We were struggling extremely bad financially, like less than paycheck to paycheck, and the stress was just killing me. I watched my niece at the time, and my husband works odd hours, so we were watching her on his days off, and we never had time as a family. And add all that together, and I was just like a ticking time bomb. I was done. And December came around of 2014, and I was done. And at Christmas, I told my husband, like, I'm done watching my niece. I can't do this anymore. And so I stopped watching her, but that was where we made $500 a month extra to even make it less than paycheck to paycheck. And so I was like scrambling. I had no idea what I was going to do. But I was frustrated, and I watched my coach for 1.5 years, and I'd never met her in real life. We did some photography stuff together online, but I watched her for 1.5 years, and I finally told my husband, like, I think I want to do what she's doing just to help me like feel better. Maybe I can make some money, like, maybe that will kind of help us. And so when January came around and I didn't have the $500 income from watching my niece, I messaged my coach, and I was a lurker. I never, ever commented or liked on any of her stuff, ever. Like, I watched it, and I was like, good for her. She's working out at home. She actually made it look appealing to me, which says a lot because like I said, I did not like to work out. And so I went through like her coach sneak peek, and that's where I learned about 21 Day Fix. And I was like, I thought I wanted to do PIO, but then I saw 21 Day Fix, and I was sold at that point. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I remember messaging her and said, do you think that I could ever earn $500 a month? And I'm sure she laughed. It's Micah Folsom is my coach. So she's like been in the top 10. She finished number 12 last year. So I'm sure she just totally was like, oh geez, yes, you can make $500 a month. And so I jumped right in. I had never done any sort of Beachbody program before. And I remember getting my challenge pack. In fact, my mom bought my challenge pack because I couldn't afford it. And I remember thinking, well, this Shakeology is going to be nice for this month because I don't think I can afford this every month. And one weekend, my husband was drinking it, and I was like, no way. Like, we're going to get you your own. And so we got him his own challenge pack to get me to Emerald. I signed up my parents, and I signed up my husband. And I got to Emerald in like a week. And I just kind of made a goal that I would make $500 minimum. And Success Club 10 was a big part of that, and I'll go into that later. But that's kind of where I was when I started. So I was at like the lowest part of my life, like the lowest of lows. And this was something that I saw as an opportunity to dig me out of that deep, dark hole in every aspect, financially, emotionally, physically. And being a mom, I didn't realize how isolated I had felt. I know that, like, you know, you don't get social interaction, but I didn't realize it until I had the support system of being on a team for Beachbody that I really needed that. So it ended up blessing our lives way more than I ever thought it would. So came down to February of last year after I had just started. I was in like a Push to Diamond group, and they talked about vision boards. And I was like, okay, this is totally hokey. I've heard of vision boards, but whatever. So I did it just to do it. And I remember sitting with my husband, and we're like, what could we do this year that would be so, so awesome? So we just did, like, you know, basic things. And then I put 5-star elite, and we laughed. We're like, that's not going to happen. You know, my husband, he told me later, like, I remember thinking maybe you should just focus on getting to diamond and not think so far ahead. But that was like, I saw what it did for my coach's life, and I wanted to make a change really, really quickly. And so that was the main thing. And that's why it's in the center of my vision board. And slowly things started to like check off of my vision board. And we actually paid off our van in September. So 4 months ahead of schedule. We were behind payments, and we ended up paying it off. And just I started to see how having a vision board actually plays out, because it was a constant reminder of what my goals were. And so I made it my cover photo. So every time I was on Facebook, I saw it. And visually seeing that really, really, really does affect how you reach your goals, because it's a daily reminder. So I really, really encourage you to make some sort of vision board. And for me, I'm a visual person, so I needed more than just words. I couldn't just do a Post-it, you know, vision board. I needed pictures with it. I needed to actually see what I was going to accomplish. And so I encourage you to make your own and put it somewhere where you will see it every day. Make it your phone screen, lock screen, print it off, put it in your office, put it somewhere where you can see it. I actually haven't done printing mine off this year, and I noticed a difference in me actually hitting those goals because I'm not constantly seeing it. But I remember making this, and this was like my dreaming big, because I remember thinking, oh, I can get to diamond, but I needed to think way beyond that. I needed to stretch myself, because you can shoot really, really high and you'll end up satisfied with where you get. But if you make like a mediocre goal, you're just going to like probably not even get there, because it's not even challenging. So you need to really, really, really push yourself and believe in yourself and make a vision board. So vision is not enough. It must be combined with venture. It is not enough to stare up the steps. Let's see if I can see it. We must step up the stairs. So you can't just look at your vision. You've got to put forth the effort to make that vision happen. And so I'm going to talk about what I did to make that happen. So the first thing I did was I reverse engineered my goals. So saying, okay, I wanted to be 5-star elite by December, I kind of broke it down. And the first step of that was the elite tracker. And I remember looking at that. I had no idea what any of the numbers meant. I didn't even know what PV was at this point. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to do my thing, and hopefully this all makes sense, like down the road. And I remember Micah just saying, just get to Success Club, get coaches and get them to Success Club, and the rest just falls into place. And so the Elite Tracker was kind of like my guide. And at the first of the year, honestly, like I didn't have very many points. I think by August, I only had 20 and I finished the year at like 180. So it really like compounds at the end of the year. And I kind of banked on that because I had heard that from Micah, and then reading the Slide Edge and the compound effect, I figured that all these baby steps were going to add up. So that was the first thing I did, was I looked at the Elite Tracker and I just focused on, okay, signing up 4 coaches a month when you're brand new is like overwhelming. I'm like, that's halfway to diamond. Like, I'm not going to sign up 4 coaches a month. And so I didn't stress about that. I mainly focused on sharing my journey, which is a huge part of where I got. So I, from day one, shared a lot of stuff, and we'll go over that too. But that was my main focus, was to share and to get challengers and to get them converted to coaches. That's the majority of my business builders are challengers who have had results, and they have a passion for the products because they know that they work, and then they convert to coaches. So that was the first thing I did, was look at the Elite Tracker. So look at the Elite Tracker. It really is a great guide to break it down by month, everything you need to hit minimum at the end of the year. I then went by quarterly goals, and I broke it down to like, I wanted to be, 2-star by this quarter. And so it was like diamond first quarter, 2-star by the end of the second quarter, and then 5-star by the last quarter. And this is something I will suggest because it burned me out, was don't make your goals based on qualification for quarters. That will stress you out. It kind of makes you lose the passion for the business, and it becomes all about the numbers, which is not what we do. So I recommend making quarterly goals just for quarters, not by the deadline of the quarters to meet the qualification bonus period. That stressed me out. It was not worth it. So just have like end of quarter goals. And then you're set up for the next quarter, which is awesome. You want to get those out the first 6 weeks anyway. So make end of quarter goals and then break it down by monthly goals. So SC10 was a minimum for me from the very beginning, because I had that $500 goal every month, and getting those free Shakeology leads and selling 5 challenge packs was my way to make sure I got $500 a month minimum. And then, my goal now is 5 to 10 coaches a month. That wasn't my goal last year. So just break it down, reverse engineer it, and figure out how many coaches you need to sign up to get you to 5-star. And then break it down to weekly goals. I don't like having the whole month of like, oh, I need to get to SC10. And then the last week comes and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm at 0, which is kind of where I'm at right now. So I do not like that. So I tend to like break it down into weekly goals. I like to sell 2 challenge packs a week. That gets me over SC10, and it also gets my husband to Success Club if possible. So, and then obviously your daily goals of your business activity tracker, your power hour, whatever you guys call it. So I did that, and it honestly comes down to the daily goals, and you have to hit those daily goals to hit your weekly goals, to hit your monthly goals, to hit your quarterly goals, to hit your elite goal. So it comes down to the daily things. So the daily activities, you must be inspiring, consistent, and have belief in the products. So you have to share your story and be vulnerable and real. So this kind of came as like a huge like aha moment for me. I kind of just shared my journey really well, like physical, and I always related my transformation pictures to emotions, because that's where I saw like the biggest transformation for me. And people are weird nowadays with like losing weight. You get a lot of like haters. And so if I ever do a transformation picture, I always link it to emotion, because they can't rebuttal that. That's not their place to say you didn't feel that way. And so I've honestly never had anybody personally attack me for wanting to lose weight and to get fit. And I think a lot of that has to be with sharing the emotional part of it. Yes. And sharing your emotions is what people relate to. They don't relate to 5 pounds on the scale, because that doesn't mean anything to them. But they can relate to, all of a sudden I can go down the stairs and my knees don't hurt, or I don't have to take a nap at 2 p.m. anymore. Those are things that people relate to. So you've got to link things to emotions and not just a physical transformation. And then being vulnerable. So it was about April, and we had family pictures done, and my oldest has Asperger's. And so they don't typically look at the camera very well, and she's 8 years old. And I remember getting the pictures back, and I cried because she looked at the camera for the first time ever. And sorry. so I posted about that, and it was the first time I had even talked about it openly. Like, we even talked to our family. I talked to my mom, but I didn't talk to anybody else about it. And I decided, I'm going to share this because it's a big moment for us. And the support was insane, like insane. And so that's when I realized people relate to the real and they relate to the struggles. So when you are struggling, you can't be like Miss Negative Nancy, but you've got to share that you do struggle, but you're working through it and your solutions. So people want solutions. And when you share these vulnerable, real moments, you become relatable because everybody, especially on Facebook land, is posting their highlight reel, and everybody tends to think that that person doesn't struggle. And so when you post that you struggle, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, finally someone understands what it's like to be a mom and never catch up on dishes. Or, it can be something very simple. And so you have to just share the hard stuff. And honestly, the more taboo and the harder it is to share, the more I encourage you to share it, because everybody has those skeletons in the closet that no one wants to talk about. And so when you share that, it relieves that burden and it makes those people instantly feel like there's hope for them as well. And so this was just one of my posts that I did that got a ton of traction. I wasn't quite expecting it to get that much, but I've been thinking a lot about how, like, my whole life I never felt good enough. And I think this is a constant issue with women, especially. Our culture is not very nice, and we're expected to do a lot of things, and we're expected to be like picture perfect, and that's not reality. And so I remember thinking one morning, I'm going to do a post where I'm going to talk about how, like, I'm enough. And the morning did not go as planned. And I remember, like, it took me all day to, like, just get showered like it does every day. And when I went to sit down, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have my kids with me, and it's going to be this cute picture. My son was throwing a fit on my lap. He had just gotten marker and drawn all over himself. And like I said, it was like I don't remember, maybe I say in this, it was late in the day, and I had just gotten dressed. I hadn't eaten a thing all day. My dishes were stacked up. Like, it was ridiculous. It was definitely not an I am enough moment, but that's where I was like, you know what, I am, because I'm trying. And so that's what I turned my post into. And it's crazy. People relate to that stuff. So you really got to dig deep and think about your struggles and how you're overcoming them. And I guarantee you a lot of your friends are struggling with the same thing. So this is my biggest thing. And honestly, I don't like to do invites to anything. It's just not my jam. And so this is how I combat having to do invites. The more vulnerable I am, the less I have to do personal message invites, especially cold invites. So the more vulnerable, the less you have to do that. Okay, so the biggest way to do that and to be able to have something to share is you need to work on you, obviously. And I think that's obviously why personal development is a huge part of our company, because you cannot help someone else if you're not even helping yourself yet. So if you're on struggle bus and you're doing nothing but being negative and hating your life, how are you going to help someone get off the struggle bus? Like, you can't do that. So you need to do personal development. It totally is not underrated. Like, it's not overrated. What is the word? So it's not overrated. I think it's underrated. There we go. So you need to be doing it. Do it while you're in the shower. You can listen to it on audio. I'm sure you've heard this 8,000 bajillion times from, National Wake Up Call is your coach, and everybody preaches about it. It's because it's true. You cannot change your mentality without working on yourself, and personal development is key for that. And this last year, I used to take everything like really personal. I still do sometimes, but this honestly helped me see that when people attack, they aren't attacking me. They're projecting their frustrations. And I never was that person to understand that. It would really eat at me. And so personal development was finally an avenue for me to help understand people as well as understand myself. So your why has to be bigger than your excuse. And so when you start to get frustrated and you have those lulls like this business will have, you have to remember that your why of why you started is still important. And your why may get bigger. And my why has gotten a lot bigger since I've seen the opportunity that this company provides. You have to be positive. You will not be able to improve yourself if you're constantly in a negative state. So you've got to surround yourself with positivity. You've got to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's why I love this business, because that's what we have as a team. Everybody is supportive. Everybody is positive. So it's a place to fall back on. And that was something that was huge for me when I first started. Was I was seriously like, used to be an optimist, and then life happened and I was not so much when I first started. And so, going into challenge groups and having the support of the team, that really flipped again for me. And I started to see the world differently. So you have to be positive to be able to project and share your story in a way that people are going to connect with. You have to believe in the company, in the products, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can do this. If you don't believe it, you will not get there. Your mind will go where you believe, like whatever you believe is what you will achieve. So in order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. So that's where your vision comes in too. You have to believe in your vision. You have to believe that you can do it. Okay, this was a big thing for me. You have to act the part. I remember like every new coach does it. They generally take horrible pictures, bad lighting, and the posts I look back on mine, I'm like, oh goodness, those were horrible. And it's all a starting point. But I remember I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I want to be 5-star elite. I need to act like I'm 5-star elite. And so I started to make sure that I was kind of staging my photos to look more professional and to have good light. And I made my cover photo for this year to make it reflect who I was trying to represent, versus like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom and I kind of do this on the side. Like, that doesn't look professional. That doesn't look like you're really doing this as a business. So if you really want this to be a business avenue for you, you need to treat it that way. You need to act the part. So pretend you're 5-star already, and all of a sudden you will pose differently. You will think differently about how you're posting. Your pictures will look better. So you have to really act the part. So like I said, act like a superstar diamond. Take pictures in good light. So always facing a window, you'll have the best light. Don't take it with like backlight. That's horrible. You'll get grainy. It just doesn't look good. So always make sure you're facing a window if you're indoors. If you're outdoors, you want to be facing the light in shade if possible. You're going to want to stage photos. So take a ton of different angles of, like, I don't care if it's your food. Take a ton of different angles of your food, different lighting, different background. Make sure the backgrounds are not super distracting. Like, this is not the best background. Don't do what I'm doing. And then save photos for later. So like, there will be days I'm like, I have nothing. I don't even know what to post because it's been nothing but like laundry and dishes and fits all day. That's where I save stuff, and I'm like, sweet, I had this post from yesterday. People don't know I did it yesterday, and I post it. So save photos and stuff for later, and then you'll have posts. Pinterest ideas, Pinterest poses that people do. Look at like the top leaders and see how they post, and make your post kind of with a similar idea, but make your own. Do not copy them because that looks dumb. But just make sure that you are taking their ideas, making your own, and getting ideas everywhere. There's ideas everywhere. Okay, so presenting the business. You need to just sprinkle the business into your posts. And I try and do it at least once a day now. It doesn't need to be like, act now, you need to be a coach. It's just mentioning that you're a coach. Let people see that this is a part of your life. Like, you have to look at your Facebook feed as though it's your reality show. So if someone doesn't know you and they go to your Facebook profile, do they feel like they know you? Do they know you're a coach? What do they feel like your day goes like? So if you can appropriately display that through your posts, you're going to connect with people because they're going to feel like they know you. So just sprinkle it in. It doesn't need to be super obvious. We closed on our house, and so I did a post about that. Or my office for the day. My son fell asleep on me. He never does, and he doesn't ever sleep. And I was like, this is the best thing ever, because I was checking in on my challenge groups and stuff like that. So it was like sprinkling it in and just planting seeds that this can be for everybody. And then show how life can change with this business. So like I've said, we've had a lot of life-changing experiences. We paid off our van. We hit 5-star elite. We moved to a different state. We were not intending to buy a house. We were going to rent, and we decided to buy. And in 1 month's time, we saved up our down payment for the house because of this job. I never would have been able to do that. Obviously, we were living less than paycheck to paycheck. So those are good posts too. So sprinkling it in, but then also doing the big posts. once again, make it personal, something people can relate to. Everybody wants to buy a house, but that doesn't mean be like, because of this business, I bought a house. Like, you need a word like your struggle and like how grateful you are for this, and just be relatable. And then it's not going to be salesy and annoying. Okay, another thing that was a big part of it was developing team culture. Our team is super close. Everybody is extremely positive and supportive. And one thing I will not tolerate, which we've never even had to address, is negativity. Backstabbing, any sort of drama is not acceptable in my team, and I will dismiss and I will delete if I need to, because we are here to uplift and support. And when you have that positivity, you're going to breed ideas. You're going to breed just positive team culture, which is going to then radiate out into your coaches and their teams, and also onto your Facebook posts. So first thing I do with my coaches is a getting started right call, and I cover the basics of a C10 and Emerald by the end of their first month, and I tell them how to do that. And I basically just tell them to focus on them and share their journey as they're going. And I get them plugged into training that Micah has set up, and then we try and do like a lot of mini get-togethers as often as we can. So I used to live in northern Utah. I live in Nevada now. So when I was in northern Utah, I got together with my coaches up there. Now that I'm in, southern Utah, Nevada range, I'll get together with coaches down here, and we did a mini diamond retreat. Not even diamond, a mini coach retreat at my house. And like 25 of my coaches came down, and it was awesome to just do a mini retreat. It was totally on the fly. It was 2 weeks ahead of time, and people carpooled. And it was just, when you get people together, you will develop like extremely close relationships, and that's when like your business will boom. So I really, really emphasize team culture and being supportive of everybody. And when you get together, like I said, that just naturally happens. That's why live events are so important, because you get together and it just reignites that fire of why we're doing this. So if you feel like your team's kind of stuck, I recommend getting together with any local coaches that you can. Okay, and so I honestly believe that it came down to sharing. Share. I mean, absolutely every angle of this business that you can. Focusing on challenge groups and challengers, and staying in touch with your challengers and making them have that success that they're wanting. And then getting them to realize that they're able to do this themselves. And a lot of that comes down to, I just encourage my challengers to share their results. And we offer prizes, and they're ticket-based drawings and you get more tickets if you share on your personal wall with a picture. And people are always shocked at the support they get. It breaks down mental barriers for them, and it starts to help them love themselves more, which is whole part of Beachbody 2 is the personal development. And so it just all is a seed planting business. And so in my challenge groups, I try to emphasize that, and it gets them naturally becoming coaches, because people are going to be drawn to them as well, because they're going to see a positive change in them. And then just sharing my personal journey. I try to do the ins and the outs, and at least one coach sprinkled post a day, and something about food or exercise or whatever. And then just trying to share my life in general. Like April mentioned, we homeschool, so I try and like sprinkle that in there. Which is part of the reason we wanted to do this, is we want to eventually retire my husband, and we like freedom, complete freedom. And so homeschooling is part of that. So I'm sprinkling in the freedom that way. And so then when he retires, we are completely on our own to do whatever we want. And so honestly, just share everything that you can, and getting outside of your comfort zone and sharing things that are scary is where you'll start to see your business change. Success isn't just about what you accomplish in your life. It's about what you inspire others to do. So I never thought of myself as like an inspiring person. And I think everybody has that capability. It's just sharing that vulnerability and the struggles and how we overcame them. And you can't overcome your struggles without personal development. So it all works together. That is pretty much all that I have. Do you guys have any specific questions?
That was awesome. Thank you so much. It's so cool. It's honestly like, I just can't even imagine, because next month will be 3 years for me. And, I started off, I was working the business just at a whole different level as you. So it's really, really cool to see and show other people that you don't have to be as slow and steady. It's your business. You can work as fast or as slow as you want. So, and I love that the fact that you have 4 kids, you homeschool, that you know what it's like to struggle, all of that are just so awesome and such great things to look up to and say, if she can do it, I can, anybody can. And I just love that. So I'm so glad that you got to share your story. I have a question, but I'm going to let my team ask first. So anybody that has any questions for Jaelyn, go. Don't be shy. I don't think I saw it.
I have one.
There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to know if you had any tips on recruiting, whether it be, I guess more so for your cold market, not so much your warm market, but your cold market. Any tips on how to recruit?
I don't have any cold market. I have never sold a challenge pack to anyone in my cold market. That is like my homework right now. So everything is in my warm market currently.
That's crazy. That's freaking crazy to me. I can't even.
Yeah. I don't even know how to tap the cold market. Honestly, it's scary to me. So I'm trying to get there. So cold market is anybody outside of like your network of friends that you're already close to. So like strangers. So
like Instagram,
yeah,
things like that.
And your like page and stuff like that. Yeah, sorry. Not.
But I mean, it just goes to show that you know so many more people than you think, and you can inspire them so much more than you think just by being you and sharing your story.
Yeah, and part of that, like honestly, this month I have sucked it up, and I'm like kind of panicking because I'm not near SC10, which is ridiculous for me, like ridiculous. And I was like, I'm tapped out of my warm market. I don't know what I'm going to do. No, I'm not. I went back through my friends list. And like, on your phone now, like it will tell you like all your friends in alphabetical order and how many have new posts. There were so many people. I am like, you are my target. You are my target. And I wrote a list down, and I'm making a separate friends folder just for like my target market people. And so I recommend doing that. And I went through and I wrote down their names, and anybody who had a new post, I went and I commented on their most recent thing. And then I made sure I was also doing a challenge group post. And then today I posted another like snippet of talking about why I love 22-minute hardcore, whatever. And I've had insane amount of response just from actually going through my news or my friends list. So I recommend you do that. If you feel stuck in your warm market, there's always more, especially if you're adding 3 people a day. So.
Okay. So tell me where you're looking to see posts.
Okay, so if you go to your, like, into Facebook, I have an iPhone. I don't know if it's the same for any other phone. So you have to go to, like, your own profile.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get this page. Oh, come on. Okay. So then you'll come down to, where is it? Right there where it says friends.
Okay.
And you can see where it'll say, like, so many new posts. So if you click on, like, see all friends, it posts them in alphabetical order. And you can just scroll through and be like, okay, they have a new post. And so you can go, and it's just way easier than the news feed, which obviously just gets clogged with people you've interacted with recently.
My news feed is like my coaches. That's it.
Exactly. Well, I had done like the separate friends folders, like alphabetically, but I still have so many friends that when I would click on the A folder, I was seeing the same person. So this makes it easier.
Yeah.
For me to see, okay, these people are actually my target, and I'm going to put them in a specific folder. So,
have you heard of the interest list? Do you know how to do that?
No, what's that?
You can actually make an interest list on Facebook. So it's basically what you're doing, except for instead of the folder, you create an interest list. If you just go to YouTube and search how to create a Facebook interest list, you'll find a video on how to do that. But that's really helpful because your newsfeed gets cluttered with coaches on your team that you're supporting and things like that. So then you can go there, and then like during your power hour when you're interacting with people, it's right there. And you can do different ones like prospective coaches, prospective clients. And then you could even do like 2015 coaches, 2016 coaches, like things like that.
Cool. Okay. I'll look into that.
Yeah. I still haven't done that yet. I've only been on the to-do list for 6 months, but I know it's there. So any other questions about, and I made a post in our, my personally sponsored page, and a bunch of you said things you were struggling with. So those questions I encourage you to ask. And where did Courtney go? Courtney, I'm going to make you ask what your question was, what you were asking about earlier.
Okay, I'm struggling with all of my coaches that I've signed up recently, like I think 6 of them. Super motivated when I signed them up. I literally just talked for 5 minutes about products and coaching, and they were gung-ho, wanted to do it. Everything was all exciting. And then they signed up and won't do 1 day of Coach Basics. I message them. They don't message me back. And like 3 weeks later, I'm asking them if they're alive. But they're posting on Facebook, just won't respond to me and don't do anything with coaching. So I don't know
So
what
do you do any getting started right call with them?
Yeah, I've been either actually calling them or on Zoom, or some of them, they don't really have the time because of kids and stuff. So I've been just kind of messaging them within like 5-minute blocks. And then every day at 3:00, we have a 5-minute conversation to kind of chunk out the time until they can find time.
Are they involved in your challenge groups at all?
Yeah. Some of them. Sorry, my TV's on.
Okay. So I don't know if they're involved in your challenge group yet they're not doing anything. That's really weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say besides like doing a getting started right call where like I seriously lay out SC10 and Emerald by the end of their first month, and I explain why. Like that will cover the cost of you signing up your spouse. That will then cover it from here on out. Plus it'll give you more people. Like I just break it down for them in that. And I check in on them often, but if they're not even responding to your messages, I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, I created a coach page, like basically a coach page for dummies, just because I don't want to overwhelm them with stuff. And I tag them in it, and it's like half of the stuff they don't even look at.
I think you just need to find your coaches.
Yeah, you can't push a noodle. Like you just... If they're not going to run, they're not going to run.
I'm giving up on them, and if they need help, I'll help them. But
I would just keep recruiting. You'll always have those that are just like, yay, and then they're flakes, and you just move on.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to have warm bodies in your downline, though.
Yeah. Not warm dead bodies, though, because I feel like that's all I have right now.
This is recorded. But yeah, I mean, you'll have people that are gung-ho and then they change their mind. And then like I had a coach today that signed up just as the discount and was like, yeah, maybe I'll work it. And then she did a little bit and fell off. And then today she said, I'm back and I want to start from the beginning. What do I do? So you can always have people that come back to you as long as you're being consistent. But I just think that you'll know when you have a gold chip and when you have somebody that really wants it. And then you can just stay in close contact. And just when they sign on, you need to be like, in 72 hours, we need to have our getting started right call scheduled, and just make it non-negotiable kind of thing. Any other questions? Anybody else? Anything struggling?
I have a question again. Oh my gosh, sorry. My kids are just all woke up from their nap. But I had a question about adding people. This is just like a real basic question. I still need to do my groups, like an interest group, like how interest list, like how April was saying. But for the groups, the actual groups, if I add my target market, excuse me, sorry.
Really?
If I add a certain target market to my group and I make posts in there, are they the only ones who see it? Do you know the answer to that?
So, well, I don't know how the interesting works, but if you put them in like folders, friends folders, that is just for you to see those people. They don't know that they're in a folder. That just separates everybody else except for them into that. So that becomes your news feed for them. Does that make sense?
So I'll see basically what they post and that's it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it just becomes your A folder news feed.
Okay.
So instead of like just your newsfeed being whoever you've interacted with the past week, it's all the A names and what they posted in the past week.
Okay. Thank you.
It's the same thing for interest list, but you have to choose it as private because there's an option of it being public, and you don't want to see somebody that sees, why am I in a prospective coaches group? Like that would not be good. So there's a way to make the interest list private so they can't see it either.
You mentioned not liking to invite and message people. Are they just coming to you based on your post? Yes. Like I said, the more vulnerable I am, the more people will come to me. So I honestly I did invites like in February of last year for Team Cup. And then I did some on New Year's Eve as we were moving across the state, voice texting, and I just did it for people. So in our team, I found that people like don't even know what challenge groups are. So we did a sneak peek prep week. So I let anybody into our prep week, and then us coaches are treating it like a challenge group. So we check in there, but we do everything we would for a normal prep week. And then they are kicked out at the end of the week if they don't buy a challenge pack. But we do that so that people can like see what they think about it before they buy. And that's helped a ton. We have like 50% conversion rate with that. And so I had people in a sneak peek. And so I did voice messages to those people and said, hey, sneak peek just finished. I have a new challenge group starting on Monday. Did you have any health and fitness goals? And that's it. So honestly, the sneak peek is huge for me. And then my posts. Yeah. Like I hate inviting. It's bad.
It doesn't pay my bills, Abby. So go for it. I mean,
I know that it's super crucial. And like if I don't hit my minimum goals, like that is something that will have to change. I'm going to have to get out of my own head. So I'm not discounting inviting, just saying I don't like it. And I have found that the more vulnerable I am, the less I have to do that.
Okay, so for the sneak peek, I love that the prep week is open to anybody. How do you go about posting about that? What's kind of your, like, what would your post be for that?
It would be just like I would for a challenge group, but like after I do something, I mean, it could be with anything, a meal that you eat. Like I posted my breakfast yesterday, like you don't starve on 22-minute hardcore. And I could put something like, if you want to see what I eat on this plan, let me know and I'll put you in a free sneak peek group, no obligation.
Okay.
So super simple, just like I would invite to a challenge group, like a call to action post. But instead I say, you can see what we do without buying type thing.
Okay, one thing that I do in my challenge groups is I do prizes and I'll say they'll get, a free cafe latte shakeology from me if they post something to their wall or something like that. And I'll maybe get one person a week to do it. So I don't get a ton of interaction. So what are you telling them like to post to their wall? Because maybe I'm just making the assignment too hard. I don't know. I'm like, post your food and tag me and say what you like about, the group so far. But so what are you having them?
Ours is just a transformation pick for their 21 days. So I don't care what program they do, but we have like the prep week, and then we leave them in that prep week and do a 21-day challenge, whether they're doing 21-day fix or not, whatever program it is, they do for 21 days. And then we have them post their pictures and their stats of that 21 days. And we give them like 1 ticket if they post their stats in the group, 5 tickets if they post their stats with a picture, and then 10 tickets if they post that to their wall with a picture. So we're encouraging them to share their transformation because that's what people want to see. And that's what gets them to convert from discount coach to working coach, is when they share that on their personal wall. So ours is always transformation.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, good stuff. Does anybody else, anything else you want to pick Jaelyn's brain about?
What does he need?
Okay.
Feed him some food.
I actually have a quick question.
Yeah.
So even in the first couple of weeks or month of you starting, you didn't do any invites, like none at all in the first couple weeks or month?
No, I posted weekly picture updates. Like I announced I'm doing 21-day fix. I decided to be a coach because I want accountability. Let me know if you want interest. And I had which was weird. I think it might have helped that I had been in the nutritionist and I posted a before and after from that and said I'm getting back to that. I had like 9 people before I even started that signed up and did it with me my first round. And then I shared pictures throughout, and I had 9 more the next month. So honestly, the pictures are huge, and then just relating to emotions.
Okay, I understand. So, I think that's just crazy for me because, I mean, I post all the time, and it's been harder for me to invite with my, like, crazy schedule, but I'm, like, so real with my postings and my struggle and, like, all my life. So I haven't even signed up one person yet. So good for you, girl. That's awesome.
I honestly tell people, if you're struggling, then you need to look at your posts. They're either looking too surfacey, like people are seeing them as surfacey, or you're not relating, you're not adding value to what you're doing enough. So you need to post more about why stuff is awesome, not what it is.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I think the other thing too is that the longer that you are a coach too, the more interaction you will have. And if I look at posts from, 2 years ago, I may have had 10 likes on something, and now I can get, over 100 likes on something, or over, 60 likes on things. So the longer, this is my point of view too, is that I have some coaches that are just like you, Jaelyn, that have people come to them, people come to them, people come to them. And it's not going to be that way for everybody. So it's not. And if it's not, then you do have to, do a little bit more inviting. But the biggest thing to take away is that the posting, the vulnerability, that is just so key, because that's going to keep people wanting to come back and keep those people that are watching want to message you after, like she said, she was a lurker, and they're going to come back after not liking or commenting because they're drawn to you. So you can't look at her and compare and say, well, this is not happening for me, so I'm not going to make it as a coach, because there's so many different ways to work your business. So I don't want you to ever compare yourself to anybody, but just know that there's nothing wrong with having to invite people to get challengers, because that's why it's a 3 vital behavior, So I wouldn't say to worry if that's not the case for you, but consistency, and definitely, like she said, dig deep into your posts and see how you can be more real. One of the worst things that I did my first year as a coach was I was just like trying to be perfect. And people were, I remember I posted a picture of pizza one time. And they're like, oh, good, you are a normal person. You ate pizza. And I'm like, what if I have been doing this all wrong? So just being you and not trying to be perfect is just the best thing that you can do.
Well, and there's tons and tons and tons. Like she said, when I started, I look back now and I have like 10 likes on the pictures, but a lot of people are watching. Like I have people come months down the road. So it really is breadcrumbing everything you're doing, just small, consistent, and one day it'll be like, thank you. So you just have to be consistent about it. And if you're waffling at all, you're going to struggle more. So honestly, it's doing it even when you feel like not doing it, and when you feel like you're not getting traction. It's that consistency that will get you. So
I have one more question. Sorry. I'm like loading you up with questions. For your prep week, how often do you do that every week, or how often do you run those? Every 2 weeks. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I feel like our style is the same because I don't invite a lot either. But I have a lot of interest in my free groups that I run. And I love that idea because I sprinkle the 21-day fix into my free groups, and we have a 50% conversion rate also with that. And I think that's such a great idea. So I'm going to use that. That's awesome.
People assume that you can only eat cardboard to lose weight. And so when you get them in a group where they can see real food and they can see real people posting and doing their workouts, like that is huge, because people don't know what challenge groups are. I didn't know what a challenge group was. And so just giving them a glimpse, I think, is really good.
So did you say you do 2 challenge groups a month then?
Yeah, so I have an ongoing group. So after we do the prep week, they go straight into a 21-day, and then I transfer them to an ongoing group. So we just keep them in that prep week group to keep it smaller, to keep them, some people get intimidated by big numbers in groups, and so that way they're used to interacting and commenting and posting, and then when we transfer them to the big group, they still do that. So yeah, we have them every 2 weeks. They just alternate back and forth.
Mm-hmm. So, but once they all start, they're still all in the same group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you don't create.
So we just take out
Go ahead.
No, we take out like sneak peekers on Sunday.
Okay.
So on Saturday we say we're happy you guys joined us. We hope you'll continue on. This group is now closed, even though it's not. We just say this group is closed except for our people who are continuing on. So we hope you'll join us. And then on Sunday we do like, hey, now to prepare for your challenge, whatever. And then people start on Monday.
Okay, cool. Awesome. What are you doing for your coach? Are you doing 3-day coach sneak peeks, or what's your biggest thing for letting people into getting a glimpse of what coaching is? What do you normally do for that?
We do just a one-day, used to be like the live events where you have like short 5-minute videos, like a ton of them. We do just a one-day page group now, one-day group, where a lot of the coaches have made 5-minute videos on different topics. So the classic, what is coaching? What are challenge groups? What is the cost? Is it a pyramid scheme? Stuff like that. So we just have and then we have a couple personal stories in there too. So we just do that on the second or last Monday of the month, depending on where it falls. And that's what we do for that.
So it's a group, and they're only in there for one day, and then they're gone.
Yeah. Well, we leave the group open for a week, but it's live on Monday. So yeah, for a week, people can add people in there, but we just do it the last Monday or second last Monday of the month.
Okay, and then you clear everybody out when you reuse it the next time.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, that's all the questions I had. Does anybody else have anything else before you get going? Okay. Well, thank you so much, girl. And I will share the recording with you, and then I'll see you on your team call in 5 minutes.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Yep.